Hello and welcome back to the Roman Roads YouTube channel. I'm Roman.
And I'm Rhodes.
And this is another medley. What are we talking about today?
Today we got some solved mysteries for you. Bermuda Triangle. What's going on there? Amelia Earhart. Where she be? Megalodon.
The giant shark.
It eats you. It eats you right to death.
Check out for the Meg. This is actually a Megalodon movie coming out with Jason Statham.
Really?
Yes, I think
I
this summer.
Watch it.
Yes, so keep an eye out for that. But let's talk about, do we solve some of these mysteries?
Let's jump into it. Starting with Bermuda Triangle. Tons of mysteries. Basically, it's a area between Florida, the Bahamas, and somewhere in South America or Mexico that nobody cares about.
But it's a whole thing about like people go disappearing, ships go disappearing kind of thing.
Everything disappears there, and there's alternate reality dimensions and time because weird stuff happens there. They see odd green lights, mechanical failures at random. Well, mystery solved. There's frozen methane at the bottom of the ocean because basically blah, 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 gas in the air, temperature change, turns into particles, whatever, frozen methane gas. They've actually looked at it for a possible, source of methane, like natural gas. Here's a fun fact. Methane, whenever it's ignited, turns green. And one of the big things that happen, well, you've seen it. I mean, look anywhere online, you just, boom, you can test it out yourself. Don't light your farts on fire. We do not advise you do that. Something happens. There could be shifts. It could be the temperature getting warmer. Shifts. Just any shift. Tectonic activity. I'm going to say it's just that it's melting. The planet is getting hotter. It melts. Other things happen. Crystals burst open. And it comes up. Something about that ignites it. And you see some green. Well, another thing that methane does, especially in large quantities, is it displaces oxygen. It just pushes the air away from you. So it's not that it's poisonous, it's that it sucks.
It takes away the oxygen in the room. That's how you die from methane.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. The thing is, though, the reason not everybody dies and they just see weird stuff, it's because you're not in a room. You're in the open ocean. So you experience temporary oxygen deprivation.
In theory, if you were in a room, solid room, and methane were to come in...
You don't need a theory. It's been tested out. There's a whole war about people testing out the effects of gases in a room.
The methane would push the oxygen out of the room, and that's how you would asphyxiate, and that's how you die.
If it was an airtight room, and they just put gas in there, I'm pretty sure the pressure would kill you.
You just have to run around trying to find the pocket of oxygen?
Exactly. It's like, where does it not smell like butt? Okay, and do you know the symptoms of oxygen deprivation?
Yeah, it's hallucination. You can pass out. You can loss of balance.
Exactly, and all of those things have been attributed to supernatural causes. That basically, like, reality shifting. I can't stand up straight.
All of a sudden,
I'm seeing crazy stuff.
Your stuff. You start seeing things. You start feeling sick or whatever, feeling weird,
and cause a blackout. And that's another sign of one of the UFO incidents. Now, I say UFO in a sarcastic way. There might be UFOs there. I'm just saying it probably wasn't. Also, the disappearances. There's the same amount of disappearances, roughly, as there are the rest of the world in the shipping lanes. It does happen when something goes wrong. It's hard to see people out there.
Planes. We're talking about ships that just kind of like lose contact with them, and then you
totally
find
did.
them.
Yeah. Now there are some weird instances about people just totally abandoned ships there. That's pretty rare, but that one seems to be like the most clearly defined case of possible methane bubbles causing people to like lose their stuff and run off the side of a boat or something.
Okay, so I mean, the
stuff does happen.
Situation would be like the methane comes up, the people get weird and they fall off the ship or they die.
Or they might just be trying to abandon the ship and like, okay, it's
because
they
freak out.
Yeah, they freak out. Try to get off. Bad things happen. Amelia Earhart. So, you know Amelia Earhart, right?
Yeah, she went missing. Nobody knows where she was, but she was
more
famous for
being the first female pilot in general, but also she wanted to circumnavigate the world, meaning go from one point of the world to the other, all by herself in a plane. Single-seater, propelled to the plane, and she had a radio with her where she'd check in at certain points so that she'd say, I made it here on time, I'm safe, yada, yada. Well, around the, what are they called? Pacific Islands? This sounds like a stupid
South
name.
Pacific?
Pacific in general.
Okay.
But yes, those South Pacific Islands, she disappeared. They stopped. Well, she didn't. What is it?
Lost communication.
Exactly, and then they couldn't find her. And there's a big thing. Where did she go?
And there's a whole bunch of theories, right? That maybe she crashed on an island, or she went to some other alternate dimension, or that she landed somewhere and she's living incognito somewhere in some other country.
Basically, everybody really just pretty much assumed that stuff went wrong and she crashed. It was dangerous to fly for anybody back in the day, and that stuff happened. But like you're saying, the whole mystery of what went down became bigger than the actual events, which it shouldn't have. It was a milestone in history for everybody, especially women. It was around the time when we're trying to get the vote. And it seems now
that she's more famous for her disappearance and now what
her
she
life
accomplished.
Yeah, like think about it. Lincoln, because he died. It's that becomes like every time you bring up the great stuff he did, it's like we have to prop that in too. Martin Luther King and just my point is the death overshadowed a really great life.
Back to Earhart.
That would be an embolism, and you would die. Get it? So, on the island of Nikimora, bones were discovered on the beach wearing traditional, or not to say traditional, it was the aviator gear. It was a flight jacket, certain kind of pants, was this? Certain kind of hats. It was a few weeks after her disappearance. It was about 80 years ago. So it was very after. Exactly. Now, here's the thing.
What about it composed to bones in that amount of time?
It was bones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They found the clothes on bones and roughly patches of leather and things. So, I guess they assumed they saw, aviator's gear. The guys assumed it's a dude. They took measurements of the bones. Bones disappeared. Or they really probably either got misplaced or somebody gave it a proper burial. Either way.
They didn't connect it.
They didn't connect it at the time. And here's the thing. There actually was a report in America about it. But at the time, all you had was the newspapers. And they were selling papers on the mystery of Earhart. So while they didn't necessarily cover it up, they certainly blew out of proportions her mystery disappearance. Now, although the bones are gone,
that would have been a great story to run with, newspapers, and then
not at the time. It was like they were stuck in their thing. Like, yeah, man, all this crazy stuff could have been. It was
but I'm saying, but if you sell a story of like this disappearance and kind of the mystery of it, people are going to buy the paper.
Yeah,
and I think that's also like a business thing where like competing newspapers are going to be like, we got to keep this talking about this because that's where it's going to sell our product.
Exactly. Once she's found, it's like that's first off, that's tragic too. Yeah. It's that nobody wants tragedy. They want to sell possibilities. She's living on a romantic island with Tarzan. And I bet you that title was used.
Probably.
Now, you might say, well, this was incompetence, that the guy didn't notice it was a woman's skeletal remains. But the science of forensic anthropology, is still pretty new. Now, that means it can be hard. If you don't know what a human skeleton looks like and all the points and measurements, it can be pretty hard to tell. And especially since, all right, now you might know, okay, this shoulder length, blah, 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 this or that. They didn't have it. That was studied. It was 80 years ago.
There was a lot of things that
they didn't have CSI, regular, New York, Los Angeles, Florida, Miami.
Isn't there a Vegas one too?
There's the main one. Yeah, it is Vegas. But it's not called Vegas. I don't watch those shows. They're pretty good. Until they're horrible. Then they're awesome. Megalodon. So, Megalodon, giant shark, lived about 23 to 2.6 million years ago. Super huge, and it basically looked like a stocky great white. The difference being is they could be up to 18 meters long, or about 59 feet long.
59 feet!
And keeping in mind, it's bigger than a great white shark. It's huge, man. It's like, what's the length of this room?
I don't know the measurements.
30,000 feet. I don't know.
Well, Jason Statham's going to need a hell of a big boat in order to capture that shark.
They don't make a boat that big. Now we know what sunk the Titanic. They didn't have a big enough boat too. Clearly they unlocked a frozen Megalodon, released it, and thus it attacked the ship, snapping it in twain. Anyway, people saying they saw it.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, well, we discovered the shark again, and it's like, we were wrong. There is precedent for extinct or thought extinct animals showing up. There's a big weird fish, and who cares where. The point is, these people are wrong. Most likely.
People are wrong for seeing the Megalodon?
They're wrong that they're seeing the Megalodon. Here's the thing. I honestly believe, I wouldn't be surprised if there was still a Megalodon out there, but I feel like the person who sees it is going to think, that's a regular shark. It just looks like a regular shark to me. It's big, huge, and far away. People who see it and know what it is, they are thinking, oh man, I hope Megalodon's not here. They see a shark, Megalodon. Every time there's a footage of a shark, like kind of at a distance or really big, usually someone will say, maybe that's the Megalodon. The thing is, it can grow up to that length that we know of, which they still started out small, and I'm sure there were great whites that are bigger than Megalodons. Maybe not for long. Like, they just have the potential to get to that size. Also, if a vulture ever drops meat on you, don't eat it. All right, do we do a title end?
What else are we going to talk about? Is that it?
That was it. We cut through it pretty quickly.
I felt like we were supposed to talk more about the Megalodon, but I guess not.
Thanks for watching, guys. Next time, or the next mystery solved.
Oh, we'll talk about vultures and meat falling from the sky.
And how you shouldn't interrupt people whenever they're finishing up a sentence. What is that? Is that hail? Oh, it's meat. Meat being dropped by friendly vultures.